Hello, and welcome to Youth Connect on Trust TV. I am Fejiri David Osai, your host. Today, we'll be looking at the mode of dressing in our society. The appearance speaks volume about you. The way you dress is the way people will address you. Your appearance will indicate how people will perceive or approach you. Joining me on the show is Elizabeth Fidelis, Rosemary Basi, Ubong Esu. Thank you all for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Rosemary, I would like you to tell us, what do you think is the role of dressing in our society?
Well, dressing has a lot to do with your personality. I mean, from the way you're dressed, like you said earlier, is how people will address you. So if, take for example, men who carry dreadlocks are seen as people who are rough. Women who have piercings and tattoos are seen as, irresponsible. So yeah, dressing plays a very big role because the way you're dressed is how people will address you. And if you want to be addressed with respect, politely, you have to put on an appearance that that will attract that respect or politeness you want from someone else. So, yes.
Thank you very much. Elizabeth, please can you tell us, why do clothes protect us?
Okay. I think it's very clear and it's very obvious that clothes protect us against harsh weathers, like when it's raining and when there is a lot of sun, When you put on clothing, we all know that it protects us a lot. It protects our skin from harsh weather, just like I said, like a very fur person now. When he or she exposes herself to the sun, like you leave yourself all out, you didn't put on clothing that covers all your body, you realize that you begin to have reactions on your skin and all of that. So clothing play a lot of role. It plays a very important role in protecting our skin from especially harsh weather. Yeah.
Okay. So Mr. Eson, please can you throw more light on what she just said? Why do clothes protect us?
Yeah, clothes protect us. You'll be very shocked that clothes can protect you from chaos, from situations that you find yourself that could turn out rough. You could appear in a very corporate and very a polite way, and people will actually not want to harass you because you don't look like those who are causing the chaos or causing. Apart from protecting from the skin, clothing, like you say, generally is the way you address. That's the way you want to look like. So it can also protect you from chaos, from situations that you find yourself that are not comfortable.
Okay. So can you tell us, does dressing well matter in our society, in our society today? Does dressing well actually protect us from anything?
I want to answer it in two ways. It's rather unfortunate that the society we are currently not seeing good dressing as the norm, but that's what it's supposed to be. So, but good dressing in other sense, it's the way you want to be pictured, the way you want to be seen. You could just be addressed by the way you look. For example, you could step out dressing not decently, and you could probably see yourself in a meeting in a split of 2 minutes. How do you want to present yourself in that meeting? Would you be able to be presentable to get what you want? We know the current world we are now, opportunity comes knocking anytime. So how do you want to be addressed when the opportunity comes?
Ms. Rosemary, in recent times, we've had issues of rape and molestation in our society. So please, can you tell us, do you think the victims that get raped or molested actually get raped because of probably the way they were dressed, or?
I will stop you right there. Your dressing is no reason for you to be harassed.
Okay.
Personally, for me, I've always seen dressing to be something you have to be comfortable in. Quite alright, you have to dress well, you have to dress decently. But I think people always forget that you have to be comfortable in whatever it is you're wearing. Take, for example, someone who is used to wearing casual clothes all the time, say jeans, a pair of joggers. If you put that person in the corporate world having to wear pantsuits and shirts every day, quite right, it is decent, but that person is actually uncomfortable because that is not the character they are used to being in. So when people come out to say you're dressing, or when when there's a rape case and someone says, oh, how was she dressed, why don't we ask that question when it's a 3-month-old baby that gets raped?
Okay.
Are we going to say the baby was not dressed well? I mean, what else could a child wear that would make you sexually attracted to a child? So using dressing as a form of defense or offense for some people in rape cases is a total no for me. I can't accept it.
Elizabeth, can you please throw more light on that?
Okay. Yes, I think I agree with her. I agree with what she said, because there's no how do I put it now? There's no way you're going to come and tell me that because of the way a lady dresses, that's what made you attracted, and then it is no excuse for rape. So even though I agree with her, I will still want to ponder on the fact that, just like you said earlier, that how you want to be addressed, you should dress the way you want to be addressed. So if you don't want such kind of harassment, I've had a lot of stories of ladies that get harassed because of the way they dress. It's just like when you are in the room, you behave like the Romans. So in the kind of society you are in, your kind of environment, if you're comfortable dressing in a way you can expose your body and then people around you are comfortable with it, then fine. But if the people around you don't have that kind of mindset that they could be comfortable around you dressing anyhow, then I think you should look at it and dress properly and dress decently.
Okay, so you're saying that the way you're dressed can actually attract attention. It can actually draw attention to you, and then anything can then happen.
Exactly.
Well,
That's also, I agree with that too.
But most times, even in the Nigerian society, take for example, I make it a point to wear joggers and t-shirts when I'm going to the market, but Nigerian men will still tease you when you go to the market. The same way they would tease a lady wearing shorts and shirts is the same way they would tease a woman wearing trouser and shirt, or even jalabia. Sometimes just being a woman alone already drags that harassment, if we're being very honest. Fine girl, this, that is normal. I think maybe to an extent, the only thing they would not call you at some point, if maybe your dress is, no, it's the truth, if maybe your dress is actually long, they won't see the fact to call you that. But if your dress is short, then they will just throw it in subtly. But then the thing is that at the end of the day, anyhow you dress is going to drag attention. If you dress dull, because the thing is that you might dress in a dull manner and somebody will still see you and look for a reason to speak about it. It might not even be your dressing, because when we say dressing, we actually focus on just clothes. But your dressing can be, you can wear a nice dress but you're wearing the wrong set of shoes, you drag attention. You can wear a nice dress but your hairstyle is is what is dragging the attention. It could be the amount of piercings you have. As a woman, it could be your makeup that drags the attention. So dressing encompasses all those things. You might dress decently, yes, but the fact that you have, like, take for example, I'm carrying a blonde hair, somebody might see me and be like, wow, that girl is so wild, but I'm dressed decently. So it's those little things. At the end of the day, you're still going to be harassed, or yes, just take if you want to try it, go to the market one day, dress decently, then another day go back and just dress in a way you normally wouldn't dress, and see if the harassment reduces or it's still the same. Just try it yourself.
Mr. Obong, okay, what are your thoughts on married women that go half naked these days, and they go and say, oh, my husband is not complaining, my husband likes the way as a matter of fact, my husband actually picked this clothes for me. What do you have to say about that? Because it's really alarming in our society these days. You see married women half naked and they go by the excuse that, okay, my husband doesn't complain.
you can't really compare one marriage to the other. What works for one person could not work for the other one. I could want my wife naked. Another person, for example, I could want my wife go naked, and someone else would want his or his wife well dressed. So it's not. If you want my opinion, I can give, but it's not a general thing you should talk about.
Of course, I want your opinion.
So my opinion is, this is it. It's about going naked is someone else's opinion to what you feel nakedness is. Wearing a bomb short to you, another man, could be my wife going naked. But wearing a bomb short to me could be my wife dressing the way I want her to dress. But generally, I don't think a man would want his wife to dress or come out looking the way she looks in the bedroom. So no man would want. So what's your standard for your bedroom? So what's the standard you want your wife to look like in the bedroom? I don't think any man would want his wife coming out looking like what she looks in the bedroom. So that's my own opinion. That's what I feel.
Rosemary, like you have something to say about that.
Well, what I was going to say is at the end of the day, you can't blame women because there's that, will I say push, or, you know how Nigeria is and marriage. It's like as a woman, once you've married, you've gotten, that's the highest achievement you can get. So if you do something and your husband actually approves of it, to be very honest, there's really no point of anybody, maybe apart from your parents, there's really no point of anyone else. Exactly, there's really no point of anyone else coming to tell you, you're dressed indecently. The next thing you hear is, even as I'm dressed, I have a husband at home. Do you have? You know, Nigerians are very quick to give people back to back. So you can't blame women. And truly, some men actually want their women. And you know, Nigerians, they also tell you that if you don't dress like this, your husband will go and look outside for the one that's dressing like this. So there's just
you want to please him.
You want to please him. There's just so much pressure. Do you dress indecently? Do you dress decently? If you want to stick to your moral code, it's left to you. If you want to now, do what works for your marriage, it's left to you. People, at the end of the day, people will still talk if they
Elizabeth,
want to talk.
do you think religion has got anything to do with these issues of, dressing decently or indecently?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think religion, especially here in Nigeria, it plays a very huge role in that. And I think both religion, both Muslim and Christian, that's Islam and Christianity, I believe that they both agree for everybody to dress decently. So I don't think there's anywhere in the Bible, I'm a Christian, there's anywhere in the Bible that says
expose your body.
Yes, even though, you could have a lot of people argue that, okay, back in the days when there was no Christianity, there was no Islam, our forefathers then, they only put on leaves and they actually expose their body a lot than we do right now. But it was not an issue as at that time. But now it is an issue because a lot of things have changed. Our mentality, our mindset, and a lot has changed. And you cannot compare the standard of living, the way of thinking back then and now. So, and I think, yes, religion play a very huge role, and they all agree on decent dressing.
Okay, Mr. Obong, do you think dressing indecently as a married person, for example, will affect the upbringing of your children?
I would not agree with that because indecently, dressing indecently first. Let's tackle that first. Dressing indecently doesn't necessarily mean you are, for example, you are an accountant, for example, and you should be known for wearing suits. But you don't wear suits. You always wear t-shirts and jeans and shoes. That's not an indecent. That's not indecent dressing. Okay. So, being decent and affecting your children, it depends on the cultural morals you put on your children. What are you doing when you're dressing like this? What do you do? Do you dress indecently and you stay at home? Do you dress indecently and you go out for parties? These are what they see. It's not about what you do with the dressing. For example, you could probably dress what Nigerians call indecent and you stay at home with your kids. Does that mean that you dressing indecently with your maybe short, and does that affect their mentality growing up? No. It's what you do with what you dress. That's what they see. Do you go out with parties and you dress like this? You're already giving them that mentality that, oh, if you want to go for parties, you're supposed to go naked. So it's about what you do with what you dress. That affects your kids.
But is there really a manual for dressing decently? Like, is there some rules and regulations for what really is indecency in dressing?
For the ladies,
I think indecent dressing is when your dressing makes people uncomfortable.
What about if you're comfortable? Like you said earlier, you dress and you're like, okay, I'm comfortable with what I'm wearing. So what does it really matter?
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Someone might be comfortable exposing their cleavage in a dress, but it doesn't mean you would wear that to a church.
Okay.
You're comfortable, yes. I mean, even I might even be comfortable, but the environment you're in, is it right? That's indecent dressing. You're coming to work and you have a skirt that is on, like, you know, way above your thighs and your button is open. That's indecent dressing, because where you are, is that how you're supposed to dress? So I think when you say dressing indecently, you have to like tie it to an environment. That's when the dressing itself now becomes indecent, because to you might be dressing decently, but that occasion, that space you're in, are you decent enough for that place? That's just.
So do you think ladies dress because they want to attract men to, or they just want to feel comfortable in their skin or whatever? Do you think?
Well, I can't give an exact answer because I'm not in their heads, but obviously, like we said in the beginning, address how you want to be addressed. If you're going to like a restaurant and you know you have all your chest out, your gown is very, very short, the first thing that would come to my mind if I see you is that, oh, you're here to attract a man's attention.
What if you're married and you're dressed that way? Doesn't necessarily mean that you want to attract a man's attention.
If you're married, then I'll now see it as, oh, she's comfortable in what she's wearing.
So why can't you say she's comfortable in what she's wearing?
It's a
mix of both.
Even when you know,
women dress for the mix of both.
Yeah,
comfortable and some to
exactly, because I can't give that reason for a married woman because she's married. If I didn't know she's married, I would say yes.
So how do you know she's married? How do you know she's not just wearing a ring just to make people feel like, oh, I'm married I can dress this way?
I'm not even going to use wearing a ring to judge her, except I'm seeing how it's her husband and her family.
How can you even tell if that is actually a husband and a family? So you see,
it cannot be overemphasized.
Overly emphasized. Like I said, Mr. Obong, what is your preference? Like, would you prefer your lady to dress decently or indecently?
To be very sincere, but for the purpose of this answering this question, decently. But to be very sincere, I want to be in the middle.
Okay, in the middle, in the sense that not too much.
Tilting towards the decent, but not forgetting the. I just want to be in the middle.
No, you really have to explain that.
Let's not forget this. A man is moved by what he sees, and the lady is moved by what they hear.
Okay.
So a man is moved by what you dress like a reverend sister and you're moving around all the time, and you expect me to be looking twice or once. I'm not saying you should be naked. No, I keep the nakedness and make me eager to know what's behind the clothes. Don't be naked, but come on, be in the middle. Yeah, be appealing.
You don't want too much of everything. You just want to, a little bit of this and a little bit of this. Okay, I'm going to hold on to that thought. We are going to go on a short break now, and when we return, we will continue. Welcome back. This is Youth Connect on Trust TV. So, Miss Elizabeth, I want you to tell us, like Rosemary said, do you think being married or single would determine what people will feel when they see you dressing indecently in public?
Well, being married or single, I don't really know how to answer this question, but I feel whether you're married or single, at the end of the day, people will still say whatever they want to say. And for me, I feel it is no excuse for you to dress indecently. It all depends on where you find yourself and the kind of situation you find yourself in. You cannot dress there are some places that you know for sure you cannot dress indecently to. When you're going for parties, you're going to club, fine. You can dress indecently, probably because
dress covered and go to
you
club.
could.
Yes, exactly.
You could find a lot of people doing the same thing there, and then you're comfortable, But you're going to church, and then you wear the kind of clothes you wear to club. It gives people this kind of. Everybody will begin to look at you. You draw some unnecessary attentions to yourself, and then it doesn't. The thing is, whether you're married or not, just dress the way you're comfortable, but then you should be conscious of the kind of environment you're going to with such dresses. You cannot dress in a very indecent way to a very decent environment, I don't really know how to put this thing, but that's just what I feel.
For example, churches of these days, you go to church and you see a lady dressed half naked and she tells you, oh, it's about the heart. Like you said, you want to be comfortable in your own skin. So are you saying just because she wants to be comfortable in her skin, are you saying just because she wants to be comfortable in her skin, she should dress that way and say, oh, it's about the heart?
No, don't get me wrong. What I said is, in as much as she's comfortable in exposing her skin and all of that, she should know where to do that. Do you get my point? She should know the kind of places she should do that, not dressing that way and going to church.
Like I said,
even though some church allows such kind of dressing, of course, a lot of people are going to be distracted in church. A lot of people might be looking at you and all of that. But fine, if you're that kind of person that is what you want, you're going to be comfortable. But if you're the kind of person that, okay, you're probably just doing it because you're just comfortable in it, and then when you see a lot of eyes staring at you, you'll be uncomfortable.
So it has to do with personalities.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, being indecent has nothing to do with nudity. Okay, it has a little to do with nudity. I'm going somewhere. It's about the environment that you find yourself. If you say being indecent is being nude, then what happens to when you want to go to the beach? Half of your body is open. So it's about honoring the environment that you find yourself.
Yeah.
So you can't be wearing a beach attire to a church. So the environment you find yourself is a spiritual environment that connotes that opening your body is a sin. So you shouldn't be there opening your body. Yeah. But you can swap that to the beach. You can't be going to the beach wearing a suit and jumping. So the norms is wrong. So you're jumping into the water with a suit. So it's not mainly about being nude. It's about honoring the ethics of the environment you find yourself.
But this nudity or this indecent dressing we're talking about doesn't really necessarily apply to women alone.
Yeah,
it also applies to men. So, Rosemary, please, can you tell me what can you say in a scenario where you go to a church, for example? Sorry, I'm always using that, and you see a guy wearing a suit, and then there's nothing inside the suit, it's just maybe a chain, and he comes to church and you're like, what do you have to say about?
If I was the pastor's wife,
okay,
I would have meeting with the ushers that day because I want to know who let the young man in. Like, to be very honest,
he won't wear that to the office.
Yes, he won't wear it to the office.
So yeah,
I know that's another thing. With dressing, maybe you need some sanctions for people to understand how serious you are. Take for example, he knows if he wears that to work, his salary might reduce, he might get a query, he won't try it. But with church, there's that, I'm in God's side. God will accept me however I come. So you really have the audacity to do such and come. Like she said, there are some churches that really don't mind. They don't really put attention on how you dress. Their work is to bring people closer to God. So for them, it's more like we accept you the way you are. Over time, you will change and learn to be decent. For men, most men don't even like to go nude as compared to women. I think the highest thing
the world is changing.
The world is changing. You see a guy. Okay, what do you say about cross dressers?
Cross dressers dress like women. That's different. The only thing, if you see a man wearing a singlet and a short in a supermarket, you would think something is wrong, because you expect him to wear maybe.
It's like you haven't been going out a lot.
No. I don't mean like they are vests that you could, like the ones that you use for sports, like gym wear. You could wear that, and maybe from the gym you stop somewhere. But there's a way a man will dress outside. You yourself, something is wrong. When women do it, you be like, it's a woman that is doing it to your mind. But when you see
why?
There's only recently that men start wearing short, like some really bomb shorts, and even some people are like, are they okay? So you see, it's not really normal for men. So
it boils down to what I said. A man is moved by what he sees, and a lady is moved by what she hears. Or what she hears. So a lady wouldn't want to see a guy go nude. What are you telling me? That's what I want to hear. But the guy wants to see a lady going nude because he's moved by what he sees. So there's no point for a man going naked to impress a woman. So he has to have the lyrics and the words.
Men go naked to impress women. Yes, you see a man wearing a very tight jean that all his abs and everything is showing.
But I would tell you that for those men, it's not really about to attract anybody. It's just, it's more of a thing of joy for them as compared to how we say women use it to attract men. If you see a man wearing, like I said, really short shorts and singlet, he's really comfortable because he knows in the society he's in, they would judge him for appearing
even
that
on social media.
That's what I'm saying. It's for
celebrities. You see them dressing half
for men. It's coming from a place of comfort.
For a man, it's more of the masculine and comfort.
For a man to actually wear shorts, it means he has like a lot of boldness and audacity. But for a woman to go out with her cleavage showing is very normal. That's why we can complain about it that it's is wrong. But when men do it, it's surprising. For women, it's like, okay,
it's not surprising these days. It's not surprising these days. In this our generation,
because I feel like
our generation, people are going crazy. It's not surprising these days.
To please himself.
That's what I'm saying.
A man goes in decent
because
to
they
please
already
himself.
know and say, okay, take for example, if you go out and see a man wearing tight shorts and singlet, do you think it's attractive to you?
People's preferences are different. There's some ladies that will be like, ooh, they'll find it attractive, but some ladies would not.
But a man is not doing that to attract a woman.
That's what I'm saying. It's not
he has to have something extra. Either he has the words or has the money.
Because already, when I see you as a man wearing shorts, I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that? But
that's you. Some other lady will be like, ooh.
But very few.
Very few as compared to when a man sees a woman with her chest out. You're like, okay, I want to know that girl, I want her number. But as a woman, you'll be like, not so.
Some. Because I've seen girls that be like, oh man, this guy is so hot. They like it. There's some women be like, they feel really irritated. Come on, let me tell you, in this generation, things are going wow.
No, yes, I know, but I'm just saying, those women are not.
This is not the same generation as our parents. Don't forget, things are changing. The world is everything has changed. Thank you very much, Rosemary. Thank you very much, Ubong. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you guys for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Dress the way you want to be addressed. I am still your uncle, Fejiro David Osai. Join us again next time for another episode. Bye for now.